everybody had a good Christmas and enjoyed the holiday episode with all of the string band predictions. We all feel pretty confident about that, and we think it came out pretty good. But now, Happy New Year's Eve, and hopefully everybody is ready for the parade tomorrow, and I'm sure that everyone has been waiting for this episode. So last year we did the Brigade predictions as our last episode before New Year's. Got some lovely comments after we put our predictions out, so we had to think about what we were going to do this year instead, and we thought it over and we decided we're doing it again because we don't really care anyway what anybody has to say. So we're going to give our picks, and I'm sure that's what everybody's here for, and we're going to keep it short and sweet because we do have other stuff to get to. We got rehearsals and everything like that ourselves, so let's get right into it. Hold though real quick before we get to our first picks. We're going to go through a couple things with Haley, go over our last poll results, talk a little bit, see what we got.
Yeah, so right now our polls we've been posting on Mum Nation. We have them on Spotify, I think on YouTube still. Mike's been posting. So our last poll, which was from our holiday special, was, as a mummer or fan, what do you get more excited for, Christmas or New Year's? Which is really hard to think about. And on Mum Nation, majority was New Year's, kind of by a long shot. I would say about 80% was New Year's. And then on Spotify, 100% of you said New Year's. What do you guys think? What do you get more excited?
I went with Christmas, but I had a feeling New Year's was going to crush it because guys are doing the stuff at the club and leaving Christmas to the wives.
I went with Christmas too, and so the reason that I made the poll for the episode was because I was curious to see how it was going to come out. I figured it was going to be New Year's too. Yeah. But the reason that I did it was because I actually had to stop and think too. And the reason that I went with Christmas over New Year's was because the way I look at it is I'm doing New Year's stuff and Christmas stuff leading up to New Year's. Like you got the presents to shop for, decorating and all that stuff, but you still have club stuff to do. And then as soon as the day after Christmas is over, or the Christmas day is over, the 26th on, you're really only worrying about New Year. So at least like half of the holiday worry drops off. So that's why I went with Christmas, because for me, it's doubled up. You're trying to do Christmas stuff. You're trying to do family stuff. You're trying to make it to rehearsal. You're trying to do everything. And at least the week between Christmas and New Year's, you only have New Year's to worry about.
See, I get more excited, I would say, overall for New Year's because the whole year gets devoted to New Year's. Christmas, maybe like the first, like after Thanksgiving for sure, but I would say maybe a month and a half before Christmas am I really getting excited for it and putting my mind to it.
Also, too, like I said, like when you're worrying about everything, both Christmas and New Year's leading up to Christmas, I don't feel like I'm any less excited for New Year's at that time. And I'm still excited for New Year's. It's just like part of it drops off after Christmas is over. Yeah. So like,
you might run to the mall or something, but you go after drill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always New Year's.
Yeah. So there we go. And again, I'm not surprised that most of the Mummer people would have said New Year's, obviously. Of course, everybody's excited for New Year's. But, I like both holidays. So I went with Christmas because I just went with the first one. But
I lump them all to one holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's.
Yeah, honestly.
One big thing.
Yeah. Especially, I think, when you're involved with something like the Mummers, it kind of starts to become one time a year. Right around Thanksgiving. Yeah. But no poll for this episode, right? Because
no, I mean, really, it's just a discussion. Even today, like just going through our rankings and everything, just let us know what you guys think, what your predictions are, who you're rooting for, just any, note into the new year. And then just as a little note, our rankings are a little bit different this year, not only because we're taking a different approach to it, but also because the run through is kind of late this year. A lot of us didn't get a full glimpse on things either, so it's really hard trying to just kind of come to a conclusion without even seeing some clubs at all.
Yeah, we were pretty confident in the string band ones, but these ones were harder.
And you're hearing all different things too.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into it. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to do 10 to 6, take a quick pause, and then get to the big guys. So we're going to kick it off with Billy giving us from 10th prize up to 6th prize. So what do we got, Bill?
Okay, we have 10th prize, the Avenowers, 9th, Cleavemore, 8, Spartans, 7, Jokers, 6, Downtowners.
All right, and real quick, there it is. What do we think? You read, so I'll start with you. Is that hard to come up with?
Yeah, but it's really hard because like you said, you don't know really. So I base mine on past history.
Yeah.
What I've heard, some of what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard. It really, and you don't want to hurt feelings and stuff, but I mean, that's our job.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think it's tough because I feel like, honestly, we always say the middle of the pack is always really hard to get, but
It is.
honestly, I think the bottom half is getting even harder to some degree because clubs will bounce back no problem anymore
Yeah.
in a year. So I think it's just getting tough to see. Like, you do take the history into account, but sometimes there's no real trend for some clubs either anymore, just based on whatever reason.
Yeah. So for me, I kind of put the string bands in little pods, and I think that there's clubs that can be any prize within those few prizes, right? But with the brigades, I kind of think of it more in halves,
Yeah.
right? And for me, I kind of feel pretty confident in the clubs that I put in each half, but you could make that any prize, really.
Yeah.
You could jockey around anybody in either half that we put in and put it in any prize. And honestly, then when you get into like 4, 5, 6, really, even those clubs can rotate. You know, it was definitely a challenge, but I think that looks pretty good. You know,
and it's tough too because all 10 clubs are really good.
Well, that's the thing. There really isn't anybody that's.
I mean, you have
bad.
smaller clubs and bigger clubs, your power clubs and stuff like that, but all clubs are. It's really competitive. It really is.
It is. One thing I will say is that this could be completely right or completely wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't necessarily feel like that would happen with the string bands, but with the brigades, this could be dead on or not right at.
Well, with the string bands, especially, I mean, obviously we've said a million times, music is the main through line.
Yeah.
So a lot of what your show relies on comes down to the music to a degree as your foundation. Here, it's like, what is your real foundation?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's money. Sometimes it's costume. I mean, sometimes it's screen content. Who knows? So it kind of can really vary every year. But I will say, just walking around the convention center briefly, the one day I've been there, everyone's stuff looks so good.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's props and everything look great. I haven't really seen anyone.
I saw no content at all. I didn't even see the screen.
Me either.
Yeah, I
Me
haven't.
either.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard because there's jokers, sats, and the stars. No screens. So what you see is what you get. So you can get an idea, walk by them and look at them. And stuff's not decorated yet either, too. That makes a big difference. But you have no idea what's going to be on that black screen that's just sitting there.
Yeah, true.
Which makes it hard.
It does.
And the themes in general, like, you have some more traditional themes for sure this year, and then a couple oddball themes that, like, you don't know how the judges are going to love that, hate that, get it, interpret it, whatever.
Right.
So, I mean, that's every year, but I feel like this year.
A lot of very traditional themes.
Yeah.
The trend's going back that way.
Yeah, it seems that way. Well, before we get into the big guys, we wanted to highlight our sponsor in this episode. Not the sponsor of our show, but the sponsor of the Parade Live Casino. So we had a chance on whatever day you want to call it, Santa Day, Hat Day, whatever you want to refer to
what
it.
today is.
to catch up with Jake Joyce from Live Casino here at the Mummers Museum. And it was really, really interesting to see, just about the relationship between Live and the Mummers and how that has grown and where he feels it can still get to in the future moving forward. So we're going to cut to that right now. Haley had a chance to walk around with him and have a chat, and it was actually a really good time. And we learned a little bit talking about the business and why Live felt like it was a good move to get involved with the Mummers. So take a look.
Hey, Jake. So nice to have you here at the Word on the Street podcast. We're in the Mummers Museum right now. From your hat, you are from Live Casino, from the business side of things, and the sponsor of the Parade. So just to, get some information on your involvement and where you're from and how you got introduced into Mummers, kind of how did you even get involved into this parade?
It's a pretty long story, actually, but I'll keep it short. But I'm so happy to be here. This Mummers Museum is really becoming like a second home. I feel like I'm here every other week, and it's really that time of year where there's just so much excitement, the rehearsals and everything. But really, to answer your question, it began almost 10 years ago when Sugar House, now my competitor, Rivers Casino, reached out I had a software company that built promotions for gaming companies primarily. And they reached out because they were an existing client, and they said, we have this interesting thing in Philadelphia. Have you ever heard of the Mummers Parade? And I went, no. But of course, me at home, quickly Googling everything I could to learn about it, pretend I knew much more than I did. But they started describing it to me as probably a lot of people do, right? Street parade, music, culture, dance, costumes. And, quickly I went, it sounds like a junkaroo. And I said, do you know what that is? And they said, it's exactly almost like a junkaroo. How do you know what a junkaroo is? And I said, I have a client in the Caribbean. I built actually a game for this spin wheel with all these like junkaroo costumes and this music behind it and celebration. Why don't I send you a link? You can play it and see if this aligns with what you're thinking about. And that's actually how I was introduced to the Mummers. Fast forward about 4 or 5 years later, I come to work for the Cordish family, which is our owners of Live Casino. And they said, we're building a property in Philadelphia. We're building a property in Pittsburgh. You come out and help us out. So after 16 years in Las Vegas, I moved to Maryland and worked for the Cordish family in Live Casino ever since 2019. And at the time, I was down there at headquarters really looking at building these properties out, kind of growing from one property to many and building a corporate entity. And it was 2019, of course, then 2020 hits, and ABC had reached out. It sounds like Sugar House, now Rivers had moved on from that sponsorship. We weren't open yet, but I said, hey, I know who you are. Let us get open. I mean, COVID was, as you can imagine, for everybody has their own story. We have ours, and it was a struggle, but the past is the past now. And we moved on. Now, I also then moved on after building the property. When I came back to help the company in Philadelphia and work on some projects here, that's when I had found out we had really saved the Mummers just before I came back on board. And the story is that basically they were 2 months out. ABC had backed out, who had sold most of the sponsorship advertising, which funded the parade. So we were approached by, of course, Sam and the string band, and we were approached by, Brian at the museum and Anthony Stagliano Jr. with the Fancies, of course. And, how can you help us? How can we put this on? And we just thought, this thing has been going for 100 years. We really do represent South Philadelphia and the Stadium District, even though our customers come from all over the region. What can we do? And here we are, a few years later, we're the #1 parade in America, voted 2 years in a row by USA Today. And that's how I was introduced to the parade, and it's just a fantastic thing to be a part of. Coming up into 2026, just a couple weeks away, I think is just an amazing time and very humbling to me to be a part of this parade this year as we celebrate so many great things that have happened in Philadelphia over the last 250 years, including this parade for half of it.
Yeah. So to backtrack, are you from Vegas or you just lived in Vegas?
No, I lived there. A little personal note. I skipped college graduation. The president at the time, so I'll age myself, George W. Bush, was supposed to speak. I instead drove to Vegas and got a job. Not I was protesting in any way, but he ended up actually canceling. We got a basketball star, so I'm actually bummed I missed Steve Kerr speaking my commencement speech, but former alum. But no, I grew up in Arizona, went to college out there, and like every other young kind of sponge, you got to go make money and pay down that student debt right away. So I moved to Vegas, and it was really good for my career. But I think more importantly, proliferation of gaming and hospitality and resorts and travel really allowed me to come out here, where 20 years ago when I moved to Las Vegas, it wouldn't have really been an option. Atlantic City was your only other choice. And now it's proliferated everywhere. So I can live in a great city like Philadelphia.
Yeah, especially in your career, being around Las Vegas, I'm sure obviously with the entertainment industry, this is just a different type of crazy for you, I'm sure. Everything has its own element of entertainment and surprise and people pleasing. So I'm sure you feel right at home with the Mummers, or
I don't miss last call. I do like having that. It makes you go home because Vegas can be quite the trip when you walk out of some place at 6 a.m. or they're vacuuming around you.
Sure.
So those are stories for another podcast on another day, I imagine. But absolutely, it's a time of celebration, right? What I find really cool is, on the casino side, we celebrate New Year's Eve, right? That ball drop, that celebration, that new year. And here you actually celebrate on New Year's Day. It's like a spring beginning. It's a new year, new tradition. And you guys hold off on New Year's Eve so you can pace yourself for all day on the first. And I just find that super cool. And who doesn't love joy, celebration, culture, dance, music? I mean, all the things that really make a village and a community a community. And I think it's very representative of Philadelphia's. I've only been here a few years. Quickly, I think somebody else said the phrase, so I can't take credit, but we're a city of neighborhoods upon neighborhoods, and you go from one block to the next, and it's a different experience. But on New Year's Day, it doesn't matter what block you're from, what neighborhood you're from. Yeah. Everybody comes together and celebrates, Mummery.
Now, how long? So, what parade is this technically for live?
This will be our 4th year.
Okay. Yep. And you are a sponsor for not only the street parade, but also the brigades in the convention center?
That is correct. So when ABC left the sponsorship and MeTV took over with Barry Fisher as the GM there, we took on the street parade. So we get, a lot of benefits of that. And it's named after kind of us now. We've added our name to that sponsorship. But then, of course, the evening, obviously the morning shows too with the fancies, but I do attend the evening program. We go live on the desk at ABC and sponsor the Fancy Brigade and their final Fest finale. I think it's called the Fest finale.
It's had so many names over the years, but I've seen you at the table helping present a few times with your live swag on and everything. How's that for you, like being on camera for that?
I love it. Not to be a camera W, I won't use the word as a family-friendly program, but
we all have our moments, believe me.
But it energizes my battery. Like not the camera part. I don't really care for the live stuff, right? You're always got so many more nerves going through your head about what not to do, instead of focusing on like the talking point. But that being said, it energizes my battery because it allows me to go out and talk about great things that live does, the community does. That's really an honor to be that spokesperson. Now I'll say there's no training for it. But, and I just said an and a but, I did 10 years of Toastmasters when I was in Las Vegas, and that has really helped my career. And I always encourage people, just like today we talk about, college versus trade schools and AI versus, handiwork and working with your hands, being creative. I always tell everybody I can, if you want the best education of a single skill that you will use everywhere in your life, from relationships to parenting, to work, career, things like this, Toastmasters. You go out there every week and you get immediate feedback about how you did. Yeah. And who's counting your ums and ahs and points and said, you should have started this way, you should have started that way. But in such a great feedback environment and positive environment, nobody comes back and tells you ever how you did. We're so afraid of critiquing other people. And I really seeked out an environment that allowed me to go practice that. And I think that's why I do what I do today with live, is that 10 years of nonstop speaking practice.
Now we can actually walk around a little bit just to get an idea, beautiful. It's awesome here, and they've redone it and kept working on it. But you made a point, no one critiques you and everything. And that's actually one of the things that's so special about being in the Mummers and being in the show. Like the membership, we actually get to hear what we call the judges' tapes. And we get to hear people critique us and everything. And it does make such a difference having that opportunity to hear, hey, this is where you could have improved, or, what you're really great in and everything. So I think that's really important. It's the only way we can kind of get any better at anything. But because you've seen not only the business and polished side of the parade, but because you're in the convention center with us, you've seen a lot of behind the scenes too. How does any of that click now that you see from behind?
Oh, it's just different in person. Like a lot of things, right? You can watch something on TV. Yeah. It just doesn't resonate. Our CEO, Joe Billheimer, might slap me for this one, but he says, you got to just see it. I can't explain it to you. And so a few years ago, my first one at the convention center, he described it as, he's like, I think it's like Broadway musical meets like high school theater, but on a completely different level. Jake, don't think high school kids. And I was like, okay, I don't know what to do with that, but I like Broadway musicals, and it's competition. Like you said, critiquing is really competition. Yeah. And while I haven't been in the rooms after the judging or the weeks or the later or the award ceremonies, I could only imagine that there is behind the scenes. Yep. They didn't see this. They didn't judge that right. How could they have gotten it? But at the end, as long as everybody comes together and we really just try and make it better next year, that's great competition. And this city loves competition, right? I mean,
Oh,
look at
yeah.
our sports
I was
teams,
gonna say,
right?
the sports teams.
We want to fire the coach of whatever team that
Immediately
made a bad
after a
call
wrong
the next
call,
day, right? Even if it wasn't their fault, a judging error could make us go crazy on a sports team. But that's also because we love what we love, and that's competition, that's sports. It's actually a value we have in our company. We look for people that are competitive, because if you're not competitive, like, how are you going to go out there every day and win? But taking it back to the fancies, incredible, right? The best part I actually like is not the performance, but right before or after, when those doors open and you can see everybody lined up behind. And I could just imagine, I did like theater in middle school, like what that is like. Again, you're about to step on the red carpet. You're about to like put a year's worth of effort into 5 minutes, right? Like, how cool is that? You get to perform in front of the people that love you and adore you, that paid to watch you. Like, that's a really special thing. People, your phone, attention, it's being distracted and trying to be occupied by so many things. And what a cool thing, 125 years later, we can put our phone down and go watch a performance for a few hours.
Yeah,
like the
live
fancies.
entertainment like that.
It's unheard of. And, I won't be around for the next 125, but I just can't imagine in my head what this looks like,
What
decades
was
down the road.
your first impression, if I can ask?
So I'll give you my first impression. I walked in and you were like, okay, and everybody's, family, kids. I was like, this is great. You walk up and they've got that little, like a few booths of things for sale. It's gotten better, I think, than the one I saw 3 years ago. I was like, what is this? But they really do take care of you. Like, especially if you're in that VIP section up above, you get great seats, you get some swag, the little section for cookies and drinks and so forth. And the convention center is like really easy. I mean, it's easy to come from the parade. It's easy to kind of find your way down there, of course, next to Reading Terminal. But after that, those first few shows, you're like blown away. And what I find really cool is there's like within the Brigade, there's groups that are using tech, right? They're using LEDs and these big screens. And then there's those that are using like, it's almost like Samoa Haka, like New Zealand, Maori type, and it's dance, and it's very traditional. I kind of like that traditional. Like, it just feels like, to wow me, it has to be you.
Yeah.
Like screens, I'm sorry, I'm in the casino business. I can put a screen on anything and make it look neat, right? But there's just flashy lights and music and so forth, and not to diminish those that do that. But I do like the fact that you've got this breadth of diversity, and not everybody's just trying to do what the winner did last year to win. Yeah. They're being themselves, and they're integrating, whatever that makes up that club, right? Their diversity and their focus, and their ultimately their theme.
Now, I guess because you've kind of been introduced to the parade more recently and everything, that you would have not really had seen the more traditional side of it that was more common. And now that, the screens are so big and everything, it kind of goes back to what we were saying, the 125 years. Like, most of those years weren't very heavy tech involved. It was all, our union workers and everything that are part of this, just building everything and kind of putting that together. So it's nice to hear that you can appreciate that there's this traditional side of just, physical, actual physical environment.
Yeah. They could steal my idea, but I'm waiting for somebody to use like drones.
Oh, I'm sure it's coming.
I do too. I'm always trying to think, I'm like, what is next that somebody hasn't introduced just yet? Yeah. Right? Is it going to be like drones like tech? Is it going to be some celebrity star that somebody just has a connection with, right? Maybe that's been done. But the tradition, I think should live on to a degree, right? It takes a lot of effort to go out, whether it's an underpass or in the museum, to come out and rehearse and choreograph, sync up to lyrics, pick a theme, pick a dress, colors, palettes. Like, it's so much different when if you just want to hire a graphic designer and say, this is our theme and we want to, kind of dance around some objects, right? Yeah. And so I really do. I hope it continues to be that way.
Well, I mean, you're kind of getting into some of our behind the scenes, what our year looks like, but what does your year look like as being on this side of things?
It starts, of course, on January 2nd. And Andy and I joke about this even on ABC TV, that he'll call me the next day and be like, all right, we got to start planning next year, man. So the great news is we have been working on the last few months actually doing 2-year agreements
Okay.
One, it's a lot more stability for everybody. And obviously it's a lot more support in terms of you can look out and say, they're not going away.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can continue to actually extend that timeline. But yeah, behind the scenes, like you start to get January 2nd, it's like paperwork again. What are we both required to do for each other as part of this agreement? Getting the CBA, which is actually our Community Benefit Association, which is made up of 5 neighborhoods around us that we provide money into to support community endeavors. And that is exactly how we support not only the street parade, but also the fancy finale fest.
But yeah, whatever you want to call it.
The F-Cube, sometimes I want to call it. But that's behind the scenes part of it. I think what I'm seeing now is a lot more collaboration between the brigades too. We've been trying to encourage. We've even approached and said, look, if you want to build a display like you have in the museum down here, the Winter Circle, which is amazing, and every time it's changing. If you want to build something like that, we'll put it in our lobby. We'll put a little old historical city of Philadelphia sign. I'll talk about the history of the Mummers, how you can go to the Mummers Museum. We have concierge desks. We have 208, luxury hotel rooms that people, there's not always a game going on. There's not always gaming and entertainment might be their joy. They want to go do something and experience some cultural history of, great things of Philadelphia. So we love to do things like that. But I do see a lot more collaboration now happening in the last couple of years from also swag and logos, getting together and trying to support each other. That's a really cool thing. And I hope that starts to mold and bond more and more as time goes on.
We actually had TJ Ferry, who designed the logo for the 125 years. And if I'm correct, some of the T-shirts and the ornaments are actually being sold at live casinos. Is that correct?
Yeah. Sam has brought us some over, and we're trying to get some up here now just before the Christmas holiday.
It's always hectic right now. But
being out of town the last week when he texted me, it's been a little bit of a challenge, but I'll be in tomorrow. We'll start getting this up for sale.
Very nice. I'm very excited for that. We were actually talking a couple months back now. There was a meeting at the Mummers Museum, and we were talking about involvement and identity and everything like that. And we were just talking a little bit about that collaboration and everything. How is it being on this side? You kind of get into this internal with the Mummers Museum and being more involved in that, just cultural part of it for someone who's so business oriented.
It's I'll say this. It's probably a bit overdue. You guys do it internally all day, every day. The Mummeria speaks diversity and culture and tradition. But everybody kind of, at least from the outside in, you asked this question, from the outside looking in, it does look siloed. At least when I first started, it seems to be less of that. But I think there's still a lot of runway to go. The meeting you were talking about a couple months ago, I actually got invited to. I think it's the meeting you're talking about. It's a Strategic Planning Commission. Outside consultants to come in and talk about how do we elevate, and make more people aware of this museum and this culture and kind of grow as society has evolved. Really cool. I think great speaker, facilitator. A lot of good notes have come out of that, and Michael here on the board has sent those to me. So I'll hopefully continue to play a role in that.
Yeah.
But walking away from it, there were some really neat things. There was a woman that stood up and she said, "I live just a few blocks away. I didn't know this was a safe space." She said, I live just a few blocks away. I walk by it all the time, but I Googled things and there was not some pleasant things about Mummers. And the unfortunate part of the internet and social media, right? It lives forever. Even if it was pre-internet, all it takes is somebody to post, right? But the fact that she showed up here, the fact that she sat here for 2.5 hours and listened to what the future hopefully will look like for this museum and Mummers in general, I give her a lot of kudos and credit. She ended that meeting with basically said, "I'm going to bring my kids here next week."
Yeah.
And that's what she was talking about. She's like, "I just didn't know, it's a safe space for them." And I think that'll just take some more time and effort. But, one good meeting doesn't set a trend, but it does sound like that they're on their way to trying to be a lot more inclusive to the neighborhoods around not only the museum, but, the greater city of Philadelphia. And that's a really cool thing. I think I learned that when you come in here and ask about, how do you get involved, it's kind of like, the first question they ask you back is, well, how involved do you want to be?
Yeah.
Well, kind of wrong. It's more of what interests you. And then there's this cheat sheet of people they could put you in touch with. we can do better, right? That's where maybe some technology should come into play,
Sure.
and bring in some collaboration. But I also know beyond that, they're bringing in, I believe in February, like a multicultural weekend.
Yeah.
We're going to be able to like paint different, face masks and build different costumes from kind of all different cultures around the world that are, really threaded through mummery, and have come from, or mummery is taken from somewhere else, right? And so kind of educating, our young folks about this, I think will also, over time, allow a lot more diversity into the clubs and brigades and really ultimately the parade, which in general, you hope then brings a lot more support.
Yeah. Now, when you were handed this portfolio of this parade, when you're gonna, being put on this project, right, to take on as a sponsor, was there any apprehension because of knowing some of the mummers' bad apples and past of things?
It's certainly a discussion. You don't want to be a part of a public crisis
Sure.
in communication.
Yeah,
so no, there's no doubt. I'm not going to beat around it. It's a concern we always have. Sponsoring anything though, and that
fair.
comes with putting your name, putting your company out there, and saying we support ABC. Not the TV, but XYZ, I guess I should say, to confuse our listeners out there. It's always a concern, yet we also know that if hopefully who you're sponsoring and who you're putting your dollars behind and supporting really, push back when something bad happens. Like, you can't control the tens of thousands of people that are in this parade and watching the parade, right?
Yeah.
We know that at the casino side. Things happen at the
True,
casino.
yeah.
Not all of it makes the news. We prefer some of it not to make the news, right? Of course. But when it does, hopefully our customers and our team members go, hey, that's a bad actor. And that was one person that was whatever, too much to drink, off their rocker, found their way here. It's
Doesn't
not
sound
something
all
we
that
invited,
different, so.
right? It doesn't. And so as long as you understand that, I think everything will be okay. The moment you look away or turn away and don't respond appropriately, that's when I do say, yeah, you're complicit. And that would be a very different conversation.
Well, I think Live being involved has really put more momentum behind both parts of the parade, outside and then in the center. And I think we're kind of getting back to this point where we can really lean into our sponsorship and really be proud that we have such a great name with us and, are being voted the best parade in the country. I mean, these are such great things to keep pushing us and keeping that tradition on. So hopefully we do see another 125 because, like you said, I mean, some things, you never know when it's really going to end. I mean, that's with anything, but having these relationships and having you even speak with us today, I mean, it's been great. And just, I'm super excited to see how everything goes on New Year's Day and super excited for what potentially next 2 years, could have with this next. So
yeah, I think my feeling has always been, and this is on any kind of fraternal societal organization, you're going to kind of kill yourself. Nobody's going to take it away from you usually. That's just not moving with the social ball. You'll eventually get, rolled over. And I think, again, that's part of this community planning session is making sure that, you are bringing in that next generation. It's not, or mummers isn't just that thing your grandfather did, right? It's something that, your neighbor does, or your kid that you grew up with on the playground now does, and is inviting you in. Even though you may not look like everybody else traditionally in these old photos here in the museum. So that's a really cool thing. But again, like you said, I thank you for the kind words about the company and Live and a great organization. We've also been around for over 115 years.
I didn't realize
we are
that.
generational. In fact, the fifth generation works for me.
Wow.
In the company, right? He's 24 years old. And what a cool thing, right? And so the family and our owners also understand longevity and the long game. They are never a short term. It's why we're not a public company. We will never be a public company, in their words, because it's not about short term profits and dividends or earnings calls. It's about embedding yourself in a community and having a generational plan of how to do business in that community and how to make it better. It's really our foundation. While we're a casino, we've only got 4 locations. We've got dozens of entertainment districts around the country. And what an entertainment district is essentially, imagine South Philly, the stadium district, being completely built out And what I mean by that is residential, commercial space, probably a lot more bars, but really entertainment that's year-round every day, not just when a sporting event's going on. So if you want to visit one of these, they've got some pretty iconic names that maybe some of our listeners have been to. But in Atlanta, you got the Battery, which is part of Olympic Park that we built out with the Atlanta Braves. We've got partnerships with St. Louis in Ballpark Village, with St. Louis Cardinals. We've got KC Power and Light District with Kansas City Royals, which we're just about to build our 4th condo tower.
Oh, wow.
And we're talking like $2-3 billion investments. We've just been awarded a project with Jacksonville Jaguars and building the 8 blocks around the new stadium there. Texas Live in Dallas is in partnership with Arlington and the Texas Rangers and Lowe's Hotels. It's a campus that really spans like hundreds of acres. They're campuses. And in fact, like in Texas Live, we're an entertainment company, but we're really builders. One of the things that we were just honored with, it just opened earlier this year, we built the Medal of Honor Museum for the Department of War.
Oh, wow.
Formerly known as Department of Defense, I guess. Got to keep fixing my vocabulary. But I got to go there just a couple months ago, and like, what an amazing thing, like, to work for a company that supported this. There was no museum or any place that Medal of Honor recipients, which is the ultimate sacrifice. Most of them don't get that award unless they've given that ultimate sacrifice. The fact that like our names next to that and contribution help build it, it's on our campus is really special. I encourage anybody, if you're ever in Arlington, visit that museum.
Really
Vegas,
nice.
Texas Live. So I can go on and on about entertainment districts. That really is our background. And so my point of this is, we do not build things for a short term. We build things. Power Plant Live, our first live entertainment district, is celebrating its 25th year. It's in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And we're about to announce, I'm probably announcing it here, a bigger expansion on that and some new things to come for that. So we're always growing. We're always building. We've got visions, not only from around the country at our projects, but right here in South Philadelphia, working with our partners down there.
Exciting.
Yeah.
I'm actually from right around the stadium district, so I saw the whole progress of the construction and everything. Super exciting. But it seems like Live really likes to focus their partnerships and things they really believe in.
Yep.
So, and the Mummers the same. So thank you for being here and for speaking with me and for sharing on our podcast today just about your upcoming plans and your perspective on things. So.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I enjoyed it so much. And I look forward to seeing everybody on New Year's Day.
Thanks, Jake.
Well, it was great talking with Jake. He was super personable and very knowledgeable in a lot of different facets of not only the parade, but obviously hospitality and business. And it was cool to hear from someone who's a professional in that and what their perspective and their take is on something that's not so professional in its nature. But thanks, Jake, for coming down. Super excited to have Live Casino still partnering with us and really excited to see what the future holds with Live. But I'll pass it back on to you, Mike, for our top 5.
Yeah. And actually, real quick, right before we get into the top 5, I wanted to say one more thing about talking to Jake. It was pretty cool that it seemed like not only was he into what we do as mummers, but he really understands it behind like what we really do, the charity stuff and how much of a group it is, and it's clubs are safe havens for members and neighborhood people and stuff like he really understood that, and I feel like that was mainly the reason that he's interested in being involved with the sponsor with Live and everything. So it's cool to see someone appreciate it from the aspect of what we really care about,
and
you know
also
what I mean? Not just the performing.
What he was saying with the city in general. I think he's getting more of a feel for the city, which is really great, and I hope it's coming off as a good impression.
All right, well, here we go. The moment we have all been waiting for. Some of you probably all season long have been waiting for just this moment right here. And for some reason, people put a lot of emphasis on what we think. I don't know
I've had
why.
a lot of people ask me during the week when we were doing this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Like they care.
All right. Well, there you go. I mean, hey, I'm glad. But here we go. So somebody's about to be real happy and somebody's about to be like kind of not that happy. But here we go. At number 5, Golden Crown. At number 4, Satin Slipper. And here we go. Top 3. At number 3, the Vikings. Number 2, the Stars. And at number 1, Saturnalian. So there you go. That is our Brigade picks. We'll put all 10 up on the screen now so you can review, comment if you haven't. Let us know what you think. Let us know your picks, for whatever club you're rooting for or whatever club you want to see win, or give us our rankings,
Keep it respectful.
Yeah. Give us what you think your club's going to get, or give us all 10, whatever you think. But there you go, up on the screen now, 1 through 10. So just to review, do you want to read it down 1 to 10?
Sure. So 10 Avenuers, 9 Cleavemore, 8 Spartans, 7 Jokers, 6 Downtowners, 5 Golden Crown, 4 Satin Slipper, 3 South Philly Vikings, 2 Shooting Stars, and 1 Saturnalian.
And there we have it, folks. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet for either the outdoor portion or the indoor portion of the parade, tickets are available still for both. So ticketleap.com for the brigades. You can go to any of their social media channels and find the link, the exact link to click on. And for the outdoor portion of the parade, it's the visitor center, which you can go by in person, or not 100% sure if this will work, but I'm sure you can call them and maybe buy them over the phone. I don't know if that'll work, but you can always call and ask. I'm not really sure.
People I got a few messages this morning looking for them. People were looking for handicap section and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I just keep sending them to the same place, or just saying, put it up on Mum Nation, because I had somebody yesterday get lucky and bang 2 tickets on Mum Nation. So
okay. Well, there you go. So yeah, always check out Mum Nation or message either of the associations Facebook pages, either the Fancy Brigade Association or the String Band Association. Usually somebody will answer pretty quickly and direct you in the right way. Or if you have the link for the brigades, follow that, call the visitor center for the outside portion, and we hope to see as many people as possible at the parade. But there you go. There's our rankings. Expect probably another episode, maybe another 2 episodes from us this season before we hang it up. Looking forward to the for the serenade. Hopefully it's at the Stars or the Downtowners, maybe. So, maybe finally do something at the serenade like we've been talking about for a couple of years. That would be fun. So
I can't believe we're already wrapping up the season.
I know.
It's how many more days? 2, 3?
2.
Well, as of today.
I legitimately had no idea that today was Monday.
It's Monday, Bill. Monday
December
the
29th,
buddy.
The middle of the week stuff, moving to the convention center on the 22nd,
throws you off.
It kills you. It kills you. You're in, you're out, and then you're back in, and then you're back out.
I also hate this 3 o'clock thing.
Yeah,
No.
it's a tough one.
All right. Well, we got to get going because we all have rehearsal today, actually. And also, not that this has anything to do with the parade, but it is 1,000 degrees in
It's very
right now. And I don't know why, but I need to get out of here. I am damned.
I thought I always sweat. I thought it was me.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
No, it is
When skinny
hot in
people
here.
complain, it's hot.
Yeah. So happy New Year. Nobody get too mad about the predictions. If anything, like Justin Grazier said, prove us wrong.
Yeah.
And good luck to seriously every single club.
Yes.
I hope everybody has a great show because it's all about the audience anyway.
Yeah.
So that's really
it's
what
going to be a
comes
good
down
show.
Mhm.
It's really going to be a good show from 1 to 10 and string bands from 1 to 14.
Yep. I can't wait to see it. So good luck to everybody.
Stay
Also,
safe.
I know too, I just want to shout out Penn Sport doesn't march in the parade, but whatever they plan to do New Year's Day, good luck to them and have fun. And we'll see you on the next one. Happy New Year, everybody.
Good luck. Happy New Year, everybody.
All right. See you.
Hosted by Billy Yoakum, Haley Herron, and Mike Jacobs. Produced by Haley Herron and Mike Jacobs. Producer Brian Donnelly. Thank you to Cheyenne McLean.